of course we need to trim, once again, trim the extra piece of ribbon down here, and we will figure out the rest of it later, how we want it decorated. Now, I'm looking at this bow and thinking it's really pretty full now, so I have a choice of either using this polka dot, which I think maybe is a little bit too loud, or a little bit larger ribbon for just a smaller center bow, which is a little more subtle, and I think that's what I'm going to opt for. This is actually a 1.5 inch ribbon, and I'm just going to use, I think, a small tight bow now out of this one. So let me put this one aside momentarily. And remember, I've left the wires sticking out the front of this bow so that I can catch this bow in the final bow. Once again, I'm going to leave quite a bit of length, even though I may not end up deciding to use that much. But it's better to have it there because you can't add it back in once you've cut it. So now we're going to make a small bow that's a little tighter. This has got a lot of nice glitter on it, so it's going to really bring out the sparkle of the gold in everything else. And I think I'm just going to make this bow have four little turns in it here. And let's see what that's looking like. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we'll wire this onto our center piece here. Just get it in there nice and tight. And we'll wire that on just a little bit here and around to the back this time. But first, before we go around to the back, I want to hide this wire for the last time. I don't want to see it. So when I do go around to the back, I'll pull around to the back with this. Now, what we're going to do is actually pull this long piece of wire down around the back around the front, in between all those legs in the center there, and we're going to catch it behind here in this nice long wire. There's the two for hanging, and here's the two long ones. We're going to go behind that. We're going to pull it fairly tight, but not too tight because we don't want to smash all the rest of it. And we'll go in between the legs of that wire too. So now, the long wires, we will now cross those together, get them fairly tight, and I'm going to turn it this way so that I can manipulate it with my right hand. Once again, I'm holding the wires and turning the bow because it's easier to get a nice tight bow that way. Now, we can take these other two wires and wrap them around nice and tight too. Now we actually have 4 wires that we can use to hang this bow. Although if you don't need them and don't want them, you can cut them off if they're in the way. Okay, now comes the point where we trim this off and make it look neat. Okay, so the first thing we do is we make these the same basic length. Okay, get all our extra junk out of the way. Now let's look at this bow and say, where does it need fluffing? So we'll start by fluffing the middle pieces of this bow. And you can play with it a little bit. It'll let you pull on some parts of it, but not very much. And then we fluff the deer layer. Nice deer layer fluffed up. We fluff each one of them individually and get them nice and big and fluffy. And then we have our green. And there's that. Fluffed. And then of course our nice bit of the rest of it. Now, you're saying, what am I going to do with all of this stuff hanging down? Well, we can choose to either make it all hang down together, or we can make it hang down separately. We can pull out the parts we want to see, and that's just up to your individual taste. Now, what I would like to do is actually bring these together a little bit, but let's hang it here. Let's sort these out a little bit. And then we can begin, once we get it sorted and how you like it, and begin trimming things. And let's start by the biggest one. We can either trim up or down at angles. I like to trim where I start on the outside edge and go up to the center and make them look nice and uniform on any of them that are going to be on the inside. Remember, I was careful to make the legs point a certain way. So we'll go up that ribbon. Just cut a nice straight line. Try not to be too jagged. Some of these ribbons are hard to cut with regular scissors. And when you have two of the same kind of ribbon, it's nice just to go up and make it even. And we've got this nice ribbon on this side. Just make sure it's laying kind of how you like it, and then we can trim that even. And then we have the green ribbon, same story. And the green ribbon here, which we'll cut that way. And if you get an uneven cut, you can trim it. Then we have this nice ribbon, and we'll do the same thing. And there you have it. Nice holiday bow.